if you would compare engineering, like mobile engineering and front-end and front-end web engineering, how would you compare to these technologies, to these parts of software?
Yeah, I guess the biggest difference is in the language that is used in developing. And I think with what comes with language comes, principles related to the language, right? Like JavaScript is so different, purely functional, and it doesn't come with like the constructs, that come in Android development or iOS development, the callback functions, more specific to a mobile device, right? So it's more generic, but it would still work. It still works perfectly fine on mobile devices as well.
But do you think mobile engineering is a little bit more complicated because the resources which device has, and it's super limited. So like you need to be super optimized battery usage, and on top of that you have a storage, because web development you barely use storage. You have like really short-term storage, and you can't guarantee that you will have access to this data in comparison with mobile, when you always have this like device and you could put something in this storage and access it, for the user, for the customer, and it's changed user experience dramatically, and it's opened a lot of opportunities for engineers. But on top of that, it adds complexity for mobile engineers. What do you think about the complexity?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever you said is absolutely correct, right? So it's very specific to what kind of application you want and what your requirement is. And that's what I said. Like for most applications, you can just get away with just a web UI. Like if your requirement is to build something really more complex, where you want to persist a lot of data, you want to kind of have like a local SQLite database as well sitting in your application. You want data persistence and more complex rendering demands, probably a little game or something like that. And that's when you could go pure native. But what I'm trying to say is like most of the web applications, especially for enterprise, right? You could just get away with building a web UI. And, if you want to package it as a application, you can, but even just a web UI on the browser is fairly good, fairly powerful in 2023.
I like that you're bringing enterprise here, because I truly believe that front end is a great tool for enterprise projects. When people work in the office and they use software for web platform, and it's like B2B, business to business segment, when mobile application is closer to business to client segment, where people use mobile application every day. So it should be like in a shorthand, just in the pocket, this application, mobile application there. But for web, you need to go for the computer, or sometimes you just need like really kind of like shorter access through your mobile app. It's great. And how was transition from mobile to the front end? Was it hard for you to make a transition? Like what the challenges you faced during this experience transfer?
Yeah, I think the challenges were pretty much the same when you start off doing anything new, right? You have to start from the ground level, right? We did an application, and I was able to do HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I think most of the people are able to understand basic of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but getting into the depth and the advanced concepts definitely takes time, and especially related to web development is a different beast, because the UI development field, the UI engineering field, went through a series of developments, right? It's
evolution.
It's a big evolution. Even JavaScript as a language has evolved. As you may have probably heard, ES6, ES7, 8, 9, all of these evolution. TypeScript came in. A lot of features increased in the front engineering space. Modern frameworks, React Native. So sometimes it was really confusing and overwhelming with the amount of knowledge that you need to know and the amount of concepts that you need to understand, just to build something that you thought was a web, web page.
Okay.
But now, evolves into something called as a web application. It's not just a page anymore, but it's more of almost an application doing complex tasks, right? It has multiple pages, and you could do a lot with it.
Got it. So I think you came to the United States as a front-end engineer, right? So how it was for you? How you decided to